Goodness me. Who loves this season, spring? Oh, I love looking around at the little shoots bursting forth from all the plants. I love that feeling, beautiful feeling of warmth. When you go outside and you sit in the sun, instead of getting that little crisp feel, you sort of get that warm feel. Welcome today. My challenge for you today is this. I want you, over the next few minutes while I do this talk about God and about His creation, I want you to actually count the number of words or nouns or images that remind you of God, of how He places His hand and His things around us. It might be an image of the soil, but it might be something fun that's happened as well. I actually delivered my husband with Gaz out to Chelsea and Liam some sweet treats this week. I tell you, for me, that's one thing that reminds me that God loves me, because people care. People think of ideas that'll make people feel good. Anyway, back to this. So I want to give a bit of a shout out. Of course, we got Emily and Elise. You got some sweet treats, I heard too, from Southern Church. Sophie, Will, out at Jamboree. Give a shout out to you both, and to Nick, and I'm sure there's heaps more of you. So let's have a bit of a squiz at what we're doing today. I've got some implements here, some equipment, and I'm going to plant something. Now, obviously, in doing the planting, I need certain things. I need my gardening gloves so that I don't end up having to scrub too much of the soil out of my fingers. All right, I need some little rakes. Now, obviously, I'm inside and I'm not out in the lovely sunshine at the moment, but we've got a little microcosm of agricultural activity happening here today. So I've got my little digger. That's to get into the corner edges to make sure. Up. All right, got a little bit of compost there. All right, so I'm going to plant today. So I've got a little bit of a scoop, I've got a little rake, I've got some seeds here for my zucchini. But first I've got to check, I need some things. I need soil, I need good soil. So let's have a look at this soil. Now, I hope you're thinking about what makes soil good. All right, so can you see it? Oh, I think there's quite a few of them here. Now, probably don't do this in on your mum's kitchen bench, people, because I think you might get roused on. Look at that rich soil. There's no way I'm putting my fingers in there. Some of you might love the worms. All right, I'm going to do it. Oh, look at that. Okay, so we've got lovely rich soil. What else do we need to make things grow? Well, obviously we need water. We need sunshine, don't we? The sun that Gary spoke of, that shines and shows us of God's love and God's purpose in our life, and how the sun shines on the good and the bad. So, what else do I need? I obviously need some little seeds as well. I need water, I need soil, I need compost, I need rich soil. And the Bible talks about lots of different stories that are likened to God's purpose with the soil. But today, we're keeping on track, all right? So, I've got some seeds now. They're dry and they're a bit ugly and they're like ordinary. Looks like something you could put in your dukkha, or sprinkle on your breakfast. So I am going to make some little holes here. And look, initially I'm going to make put a few of these seeds in each little hole. So that when, and then I'm going to cover them over, that when they start growing and they sprout, I can separate them. Of course, I need water. Now, you can actually overwater, and you can underwater. But that's not what this is about today. So, that's ready to go. I obviously need to put this in the sunshine, don't I? Where I've got that warmth that will germinate the little seed. But for the point of today's little talk, ready for it? Ready, set, boing! Here we go. We've got our beautiful little, what do I call it?
Zucchini.
Very good, zucchini. Now, really interesting to look here at all the little parts to it. Now, the sunshine gets converted into energy, and I'm sure all of you people in your science classes would know about that. Not going there today, all right? Then, after a period of time, about 11 or 12 weeks, we end up having, you ready for it? Bing! A zucchini grow from this little seedling. We start off with a seed, into a seedling, into the zucchini. And then, of course, you can do all yummy sorts of things with your zucchini and your stir fries or salads. You can even use a little machine like this to make your zucchini into something like this. Okay? But obviously, if I were doing this, I wouldn't have all the soil around. All right, so there's lots of things there. And you know, creation just reminds me of God, of his purpose and his love for us as human beings. So, they're the things we see. They're the things we feel. It might be different for different people. Some of you may look at the mountains and think, it doesn't do anything for me. But a surf might do something for you, and you're reminded of God's presence and his love for you. Or your mate rings you and you've been busting to have a bit of a chinwag with them. That reminds you of God's love for you, of how he provides and just seems to know when you've got to have a good talk. So there's all these things that remind us. But here's another thing that I find really fascinating too. So we see the little reminders around us in creation, as Gary spoke of, but there's also some truths, some facts, some evidence that reminds us of God down through history. Like Gary spoke of David. Now, let me show you this little lamp. This lamp is thousands of years old, BC, before COVID and before Christ. This one here, they used to put the oil in and then the little wicks that would come out and they'd light it, a bit like a candle. This was one made by just your average person, probably like me, who's not real talented at a lot of things, but they needed some light, and so they went down and got some clay, shaped it, whereas this one was done by an artisan, a lamp maker. Even to the point too, we see history. Now, I know these probably don't show up real well. They're in these little cases so that the acid on our hands doesn't erode them away. They were in circulation back 400 BC. So they were used by people, and I don't know if you can hone in on that, but that was used, can you read that? That's phenomenal to think that that was a coin. It's probably been passed from person to person in their little coin bag. Wouldn't be a flash wallet like we've got. And I guess we don't have a lot of coins now with Tap and PayWave and Apple Pay and so on. But it amazes me. This says that it was available 135 BC. What I'm saying is this. These things are evidence. They were there before we were, long before we were born or a sparkle in our fathers' and mothers' eyes. They show the history. But these things, the sunshine, the friends, our family, when we have a great time together, they show God's love for us now. Amazing concept, isn't it? Hope you'll have a bit of a think about it this week. That you'll look around you for God's evidence in your everyday life. And you'll be challenged to think about how God is present and how you can tell others about Him too. Have a great week. And if you've been counting about all the things, I hope you've got a few. Got to put a couple of little shells there because of the beach. Pop them, the rocks. Have a great week. God bless.